Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Prince Miller Entertainment TV channel. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter. It's at PMillerENT. We're on Instagram. It's at Prince Miller Entertainment. We're also available on our Facebook account, Prince Miller Entertainment. Welcome to another edition of our daily news, breaking news. Hashtag Zimbabwean lives matter. So, as we continue with this hashtag, it's still trending and people are still talking on all social media networks. Yesterday I did a live with Prince M when I was saying why the South African government is not talking about the situation in Zimbabwe. But a few hours after I did that live, we saw a tweet coming from South African government saying they are sending two envoy to Zimbabwe kuti vaende vanoona kuti zvakamira sei ikoko handitika. So it was expected that the SA government vasumudza musoro, because as I said earlier on kuti zvoni SA government ndo ine keys to our freedom, ndo keys to our development, because we need South Africans, we need the Ramaphosa to actually intervene in the situation in Zimbabwe. So according to SABC, also according to Nick Mangwana, who is the Zimbabwean government spokesperson, who is the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Information, he's saying there's no crisis in Zimbabwe. It's G40's fault, and fugitive G40 members who are hiding in South Africa are behind the recent anti-Zimbabwean campaign responsible for intervening a non-existent crisis, and they've been engaging various regional players in a desperate effort to isolate the country. Unknown to many users of social media platforms, the cabal of fugitives have hashed a devious blitz on Twitter that gives the impression of a Zimbabwe in crisis. The members of the G40 fraction, which had captured the former president during the First Republic, recently met African National Congress ANC Secretary General Elias Ace Mangwana of South Africa, where they apparently fed him with wrong impressions of the situation obtaining in the country. Sevia Kasukwere, Walter Mzembe, and Patrick Joao, who are all wanted in the country for various reasons, met with Mugashule and apparently misled him that there was a crisis in Zimbabwe. That the G40 fugitives, who include Jonathan Moyo, had hoped that there would be bloodshed on the July 31st. When they came up with the hashtag July 31st, they already had designed the hashtag Zimbabwe Lives Matter. However, there was no bloodshed and they carried it. Nonetheless, to sustain it, they began to cook up pictures and also went to engage the regional power of South Africa. All they want is to illegally remove the government, as so said. The efforts of the former G40 factionaries are designed to place the country yet again on the spotlight to justify foreign interference. In a statement, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Mr. Nick Mangwana, dismissed the suggestion that there is a crisis in Zimbabwe. To set the record straight, there is no crisis or implosion in Zimbabwe. Neither has there been any abduction or war on citizens like any other country in the world. Zimbabwe has been enforcing COVID-19 regulations intended to safeguard and protect the lives of all citizens. Where necessary, the law has been fairly applied, said Mr. Mangwana. Zimbabwe, like most of the world countries, is observing a national lockdown to curb the spread of the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, which has killed more than 80 people in a very short space of time. Cases of the pandemic are increasing on a daily basis. The government took a difficult decision to curtail human movement so as to curb its spread. The measures that are regularly reviewed in the light of the severity of the pandemic have forced the government to introduce a dusk to dawn curfew, a shorter working day, and the compulsory wearing of masks in public places, as well as observing hygienic practices and social distancing as prescribed by the World Health Organization to mitigate the effects of the virus. Under cover of the COVID-19 pandemic, opposition parties working with some dark forces have been trying to roll out demonstrations that are not only illegal in as much as they breach the COVID-19 pandemic regulations, but also put people's lives at risk. Zimbabwe today is peaceful and all citizens are free to go about their business as usual within boundaries set by the lockdown regulations. His Excellency President Mnangagwa's Second Republic believes in upholding the rule of law, freedom of speech. Indeed, it is the freedom of speech that is being unfortunately abused by those who seek to push a sinister political agenda, Mr. Mangwana said. Since the advent of the global pandemic, which has shattered the world's livelihoods and lives, Zimbabwe has played a proactive role in repatriating its citizens from across the globe as the Second Republic values the lives of its citizens. Government calls upon its counterparts in the region internationally not to lose perspective that Zimbabwe has for long been suffering efforts to destabilize it by external forces that have been a bond to the chew with the country since the historic land reform program. These efforts have been in the past taken many forms, from attempted insurgency to the current organized smear campaign using bluntly false claims. Such as smear campaigns are not unique to Zimbabwe and have been employed in the other countries over the years, he said. We urge those who wish us well to continue to partner us in the developing our country on our part, continue on the reform pathway that we are on to ensure a prosperous and democratic Zimbabwe for all citizens, said Mr. Mangwana. The European Union and the United States imposed illegal sanctions against Zimbabwe after Harare embarked on an agrarian reform aimed at redistribution land to the black majority from the white minority. The United Nations, African Union and SADC, among other regional blocs, have called for the removal of the sanctions, saying they were not justified. Guys, this is what Nick Mangwana is saying. He's saying it is only Zimbabwe has a crisis and everything is fine. People can actually move. Munhu wese hapana munhu ari kubatwa chibharo kana ari kuitwa human rights abuse, and everything is fine in Zimbabwe. He also goes on to say, we've seen on social media South African soldiers beating up people ruthlessly using fists and chambokos, while on some regrettable circumstances we have seen them spraying rubber bullets on their citizens, resulting in serious injuries, deaths, to the extent that it has been reported that members of the South African Defence Forces (SNDF) killed 8 non-compliant citizens in the streets, but we have not uttered a word in the public, despite President Mnangagwa being the chair of the SADC Troika on Peace and Defence. Even if in SA, mapurisa vanorowa vanhu vanoshuda vanhu, we've seen kuti in South Africa there's a high rate number of people vanorayana per day, due to gunshots, due to all those things. But Zimbabwe, we never talked about it. So they're saying South Africa should organize their house first before they point fingers at Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, it's also editorial ball. Hapana chiri kunetsa. Zimbabwe is a peace-loving nation. Zvese zviri ball, according to Nick Mangwana, who is the permanent secretary in the information ministry. So guys, Twitter have been replying this, social media have been replying this. People are using words replying to this whole issue. Nick Mangwana, and I don't know what you guys wanna say. Someone says tough sellout when the courts are denying a bail a journalist who expose the regime's corruption. It's a man-made crisis. For once, we need leaders, women up. Everyone is slowly becoming an enemy. Why are we becoming blanket? This is what people are saying. You know what? You guys, makasunga a journalist, and I'm proof I'm now mukwanise kumutonga just a small campaign yamuda kungoti spirit yake lese it's okay pass because he was exposing corruption which is happening in the government. So someone says what is this idiot talking about? Because first of all, the government which is he's talking about is illegal. People did not vote for it. That is the government which came into power through military means, a coup. I think I've talked about this before, that they had to go to court for this but still even to today we don't know no one knows. So it's too one of those situations, so someone is saying that's what a government in sheep's clothing is doing to its people: abductions, corruption, and human rights abuse to the neighbors and friends. They want to behave as if everything is normal. What is normal to them now are abductions, corruption, and human rights abuses. That's why they say there's no crisis in Zimbabwe. But as people with normal senses get inside the country, worse things are happening there. Zimbabweans are living in poverty and are being terrorized. I mean, which is true. We've seen it happening so many times. And Zimbabwe are free kuenda are free kuita as long as they observe the COVID-19 regulations. I just and this is what Mangwana is saying. So someone is saying what's embarrassing is the fact that the heading contradicts itself. No crisis is G40's fault. They are saying that people who are causing problems in Zimbabwe, they are really saying that all those guys, they are actually facing courts and they are actually wanted in Zimbabwe for several they don't want to travel. So it's too we still need to talk about when it comes to nyais. There are so many people in government by now, but due to to party fractions, so I still feel that no one is innocent. Government all those guys were corrupt. Even the government at the moment, most of the guys who are removed government, they are really corrupt. But you pick and choose. And so someone said instead of addressing the people's grievances, you are introducing draconian laws to silence the people. Yes, they are trying by all means to make sure that they are trying by all means So I don't know, guys. Talk to me in the comment section. Nick Mangwana is saying that in Zimbabwe we're not crisis anymore. Everything is fine. We are happy. We are living normal life. There's nothing wrong in Zimbabwe. Yes, to conscious Zimbabwe lives matter. That's why this second republic, we are trying by all means to make sure that people are living a good life. So guys, talk to me in the comment section. Next up, this is daily news, breaking news. Peace.